What's up, everyone? Ever since I made my Shadow video, a lot of people have been asking me, where are the Rouge and Omega videos? I have thought about making videos on those two, and a video on Team Dark as a whole. You know what? It's time. And I'm going to continue with Rouge the Bat, the voice of Team Dark. I never talked about Rouge that much. She never was one of my favorite characters. And the thing is, she is well written. And she's underrated. That's common with a lot of Sonic characters. In her debut in Sonic Adventure 2, she was part of the villainous Dark story. Sonic Adventure 2 had this heavy focus on rivalry and dichotomy. You got the hero story with the three heroes who are all good friends. On the Dark story, you have these people with selfish motivations at first. Eggman wants to conquer the world. Shadow wants vengeance for the death of his friend. What does Rouge want? What's her goal? When we first see her, she's a jewel thief. She's after the Master Emerald because, it's a giant emerald. She can't help herself. Her being a rival to Knuckles complements each other. Knuckles is a guardian of the Master Emerald. It's a sworn duty to protect it. Rouge wants the emerald because it's a big score for her. It's a big shiny rock and nothing more. In the stage A quarters, when she's seeking her way into the Space Colony arc, we see her communicating with someone. It's hinted that she's a government spy. It's revealed near the end of the Dark story. So Rouge poses as a double agent for Eggman and Shadow to find out what Eggman's up to, and to confirm whether or not Shadow is the ultimate life form. She does some digging later on about what the ultimate life form is. She found an old article on the bio-lizard. And you have this scene where she and Shadow are talking to each other. By the way, they talk to each other twice in that game. The first time after he uses Chaos Control, she's going, that Chaos Control sure does come in handy. How about we stop by a museum? The second scene is more dramatic. They're talking to each other like they have their secrets, and they give the impression that they don't care about each other. And later on, when she asks him about if he thinks he's real or if his memories are true, she sounds a little somber. Do you actually think you're the real Shadow? But even your memories might not be real. It sounds a little genuine there. Rouge changes throughout the story. She's different in the ending than she is in the beginning. Remember the part where after Knuckles saves Rouge, and she hands pieces of the Master Emerald back to him because he's going on about how important the Master Emerald is. And she's like, whatever, here, take them. They stink anyway. She's beginning to see the value of the emerald, but staying in character. In the last story, when all 7 Chaos Emeralds activate the collision course from the Ark to the Earth, it's Rouge who suggests that Knuckles uses the Master Emerald to negate the Chaos Emeralds. She sees the Master Emerald for what it is. She's cutting all the BS here. And with Shadow, she sees him as a heartbroken kid. He's more than this military weapon or this horrifying secret from the government. He is his own person. Rouge sees that at the end. And when Rouge read Gerald's last words, how he lost everything, he's gone insane, he wants vengeance on the entire world, it must have impacted her. When this started, she saw this as only a job. It's just an assignment, I don't care. But she got so invested later on, it became a big deal for her. In the credit sequence when she's telling Knuckles that, maybe I'm quitting. This job, all these jewels, I don't feel like that anymore. Rouge did go through a character arc in SA2. A believable one at that. Yeah, Sonic Heroes in 06 does backtrack on that because she's still looking for jewels and she's working with Gun. I can forgive that because I really like how she was written in those two games. Heroes as we get to the introduction of Team Dark. She's sneaking into one of Eggman's bases. She finds the comatose Shadow, who's not an android, by the way. I've gotten so many comments on my Shadow video that, no, it's not the same Shadow. He's an android or a clone. No, he's the same Shadow. About 9 minutes into the Devil Doom battle, Eggman tells Shadow that, no, you're the real Shadow. You're not a robot, you're not a clone, whatever. I was just effing with you earlier on. I know, the ending was so misleading when Shadow says, "Goodbye forever, Shadow the Hedgehog," as he tosses the photo. I thought he was an android for years until I researched that about the final boss. Okay, back on track. So she's typing on the computer and inadvertently awakens E-123 Omega, Eggman's best of the E-series. The robot is blasting everything in the room, Shadow saves her, and Rouge sees the two fighting, and she breaks it up. She tells him to stop fighting, and hears them out on what's going on. Omega tells her that he doesn't want to be trapped in Eggman's room, and she finds out that Shadow can't remember anything. Her initial reaction is to form a trio. Let's work together. And she's a little more cheerful than in SA2. She's got the three holding hands, let's do this together, and saying, oh yeah, baby, this makes us a team. I wouldn't expect her to say that in SA2, but in Heroes, I like it. She did go through a change at the end of that game. I guess she's appreciating people a little more. And without her noticing it, I think Shadow grew on her. There is a friendship that was forming between the two in SA2, and in Heroes, she can start over here. Shadow has been brought back to life, so let's work together again. Rouge and Shadow do have a genuine friendship. It's more evident in 06. In Heroes, they work together fine, they talk to each other. So yeah, I buy it. After the Egg Albatross battle, Shadow sees a broken android duplicate of himself, not saying a word. And Rouge just looks worried. Like what she says, Shadow? Like there! That was so subtle. This does bring up a question a lot of people have asked. Why doesn't Rouge tell Shadow about his past? Nothing's stopping her. I think the reason why she didn't do that was so we could get his spin-off game to get the real answers, which we didn't need. It felt out of character for Rouge. She should have just told him. I can also see a friendship between her and Omega. Omega has this dry humor that Rouge bounces off of. The cutscene before Grand Metropolis where she's going, Eggman's treasure is mine. Any objections? And Omega's going, negative. And the way he turns his eye is like, no, it's none of my business. I don't want to press your buttons. Like I said earlier, she is the voice of Team Dark. She's the glue that keeps everyone together. She's the one who started it. And she's the most vocal member. Like when they encountered Team Chaotix in Grand Metropolis. Rouge is doing all the talking. And she talks the most out of the three. She talks to Shadow and she talks to Omega. Shadow and Omega don't talk to each other that much. I think twice in Heroes. If you would ask me who the leader of Team Dark is, I'm gonna say Rouge. And I love how she was written in Sonic 06. It just started off as a simple assignment. Get the Scepter of Darkness from Eggman, meet up with Shadow, and during a short scuffle with Eggman, the scepter breaks and Mephiles pops out, sending her and Shadow to the future. Rouge goes back to the present while Shadow stays in the future, and Rouge meets up with Omega. Again, Rouge is the glue keeping the team together. Meets up with Shadow, then she goes to Omega. And it's thanks to Rouge, Omega saves Shadow in the future when he's fighting Mephiles. The three finally meet up halfway through the story. And Rouge is doing her job as a government agent, getting info on what made the Scepter of Darkness. What is the history of this royal family that caused such a disaster? I asked a lot of you what your favorite Rouge the Bat moment is, and a lot of you said the part in Wave Ocean in 06 where Omega confesses that the world will turn on Shadow. They will apprehend him. He will be imprisoned forever. And right away, Rouge sticks up for him. Come on, Shadow saved us. The part where she said, despite that, it does feel a little haunting. He did try to destroy the world in SA2 while trying to get vengeance. It could also hint on what he did in Shadow the Hedgehog without being clear on what he did. Just the two words, despite that. And before Shadow walks away, Rouge exclaims, even if the world turns on you, I'll always stay by your side. Rouge has come a long way. She started out apathetic and selfish in SA2, and near the end of 06, she's standing by her friends. I don't care what the world thinks of me, I'm gonna stand by you, because that's what a true friend does. After 06, the following games just don't know what to do with her. She didn't serve much of a purpose in Colors, Generations, Forces, kind of. Rouge feels so out of place. She doesn't contribute anything, like most side characters because the writers don't know what to do with them. Rouge is criminally underrated. She went through such a well-written character arc, and she's also one of the most reliable and mature Sonic characters. Rouge is another underappreciated Sonic character. The voice of Team Dark still has more to say. What do you think about Rouge the Bat? Please comment below. And please like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. Till next time.